There's been tons of FNAF news in the past couple weeks with potential teasers for a Halloween update coming soon, along with more big topics such as FNAF VR being removed from the App Store and some crazy FNAF movie news with an official movie description you'll want to stick around for. So the first thing I want to talk about is the most recent FNAF security breach news that had came out yesterday, potentially hinting at a surprise update for FNAF security breach. The main indication that an update was going to be releasing was that randomly the banner for security breach was changed for no reason, revealing the different shattered animatronics in the game, including Glamrock Freddy, who in the final game doesn't have any appearance in this form. So naturally, people started to speculate that some new information was going to be releasing for FNAF Security Breach soon. There were tons of groups theorizing that this was going to be a tease for the Ruin DLC coming out next year, or that maybe it was some type of content update potentially for Halloween. From this point forward, more and more updates kept spilling out randomly today for Security Breach, with another official image of Vanny coming onto Steam, causing even more questioning about what these updates meant, along with a bunch of new revamped screenshots being put on the Steam page preview for the game. What was notable about these screenshots is that they are incredibly high quality, especially compared to the final game, which clearly has a more rushed aesthetical appearance. And these aren't cinematic shots, these are actual gameplay screenshots, because we can see in this specific screenshot there's part of the UI proving that these were taken in-game. So there's clearly some graphical difference in these screenshots, having people theorized, especially as Steelwool Studios in the past few months has patched all the issues from the game's initial release, that they eventually were going to entirely revamp the game's graphics up to a new standard and maybe even add some new content judging by the original banner shown at the start. So all these different updates and news actually caused Security Breach to trend like how it always seems to be on Twitter. And a few hours after these changes were noticed, Steelwool Studios would actually officially respond by announcing Security Breach was going to be on a Halloween sale for PlayStation, using this newly released promotional image and apparently nothing more. So it's safe to say that all these different promotions leading up to a 40% off sale on PlayStation was pretty disappointing for fans. However, despite this, some people are theorizing that there's a specific reason this game was going on sale. Maya Trap on Twitter specifically said that the dev build was updated. And don't forget about the screenshots on Steam getting updated. This sale could be just so players can get the game before a major overhaul. So basically, according to the screenshot on Twitter, apparently on Steam, Security Breach was updated throughout the 19th and 20th of October. And so it seems like they might be putting the game on sale before releasing a huge update that can hopefully fix the remaining problems Security Breach still faces to this day. And also, hopefully, like I said, maybe even adding back some of the content that was abruptly scrapped before the game came out due to potential time constraints. I'm definitely optimistic about this, and I'm hoping we hear something new in the next couple of days, because in all reality, it's actually incredibly weird that they would update so many different things for FNAF Security Breach this late into the game's life, being almost a year since its initial release, and they just now decided it was a good time to update all the screenshots and everything. I know it's probably important to them that the game looks enticing on their Steam page, and I totally get that, but it still seems a bit extra to randomly add all this stuff, especially the Shattered Freddy render, because like I said, Shattered Freddy isn't really a thing inside of the finished game. However, it was supposedly leaked inside of the files of Security Breach, and for whatever reason they scrapped him from the release, building even more into the theory that the developers are attempting to seal up a lot of the missing holes from Security Breach after its incredibly rocky launch. Although with that being said, if there is no update and this is literally just a Steam page overhaul, it feels really odd that they would randomly here in October make this change. Anyway, the next big piece of information is regarding the apparent removal of the Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted game on phones. For whatever reason, a few days ago, the game had randomly been removed from the App Store, but apparently it was some sort of glitch on the developer's part because it was labeled as a bug on Twitter, and fast forward to now, Help Wanted has been added back onto the App Store, which is good news. Also, there's a pretty interesting update on the previously teased Freddy Fazbear pillow pets, because yes, there's now FNAF pillow pets, and recently some new images came out showcasing what these pillow pets will actually look like in real life, meaning these are supposedly officially in production and will actually be sold at some point in the future, which is honestly incredible. Moving on, I think we've all heard about the FNAF movie at this point. A little while ago, recently it came out that the FNAF movie was going to be filmed in February of next year, which is nice, and even more information came out, including a director being announced, and the producer Jason Blum doing what he does best and making little teaser remarks regarding the movie, set to release hopefully in the next couple years, assuming everything goes right, which if you didn't know is upsettingly rare for the film. But anyway, it gets more interesting because a new article a couple weeks ago would be released recently by the company Greek Vibes Nation, apparently having secret leaks on the new FNAF movie, claiming many different character reveals such as Mike, Abby, and Vanessa, along with a supposed official filming date and location that was supposed to take place on February February 1st in Louisiana. This article, despite leaking a lot, wasn't taken very seriously though, because the leak sort of came out of nowhere. There was a lot of typos in the article, and in fact, the Greek Vibes Nation Twitter account started ranting to fans asking for a source, making this information seem incredibly fake. However, to everybody's surprise, these leaks and this article would be confirmed real, as other more reputable articles like Production Weekly, which you might know if you like movies, started backing this up, leaking the exact same filming date and location, probably confirming that the original article revealing the character names was in fact true. This is some incredibly enticing news for the film, and it also confirms that casting is currently being done, which of course is to be expected a few months before filming, but this confirms that they are actually this time planning on filming the movie instead of just ghosting us as the filming time passes like they've done previously, because now they're putting real effort into casting, which we've never actually seen before, along with them filling up all of the other roles from directors to scripts, as those things have already been sorted, leaving little in the way for the FNAF movie to actually potentially release on time sometime in 2023. And speaking of FNAF news inside of the media, the final thing I want to talk about today is the official FNAF movie description that has already been leaked. Going back to the media source Production Weekly, which is an incredibly reputable source for movie leaks and information, while also, as mentioned, confirming the February filming date along with the location in Louisiana, there's also an official description for the FNAF movie that reads, "Following a night security guard as he begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. While spending his night on the job, he realizes the gig won't be so easy as the animatronic animals that entertain kids during the day play their own sinister games at night." This description is incredibly interesting, and it brings up a theory about the FNAF movie and its contents. The grammar in the beginning of the description is really weird and it's sort of confusing to read, but the keyword that we see here and need to pay attention to is that we are supposedly following a night security guard. So that means this movie will either be told by another perspective or in third person, which isn't uncommon in movies at all. But the fact that they say following makes it seem like this movie could be a found footage horror film, similar to movies like The Visit, where the story is told from an in-character camera. And this strategy is actually often used by budget indie studios to help create more realistic effects without spending as much money. In fact, the most famous example of found footage films would be from Blumhouse themselves, the producers of the FNAF movie, as they had also created Paranormal Activity, which has the exact same effect. So while I could be completely wrong about this, it seems like this description summarizes the movie as if it were being told from an outside perspective in some way, which makes the movie seem a lot more interesting. It's also worth noting, I guess, that they use descriptive words like sinister in the summary, potentially meaning this could be the real description they use when advertising this movie, like what you see next to films at theaters and on Netflix. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, subscribe for more FNAF news. That's all, in peace.